The anime I'm going to smack about today is very, 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 very graphic, talking about sensitive topics you wouldn't want in one's Christian schoolhouse, aka this, that, and definitely that. So if you are very squeamish to such material, or if you're a minor, don't watch this anime. Just don't do it. We Gucci, we Gucci. Now play that intro, man. Stop the presses and hold your choco milk because Redo of Healer after a year of buzz has come out and it sucks. To absolutely no one's surprise! But what this anime misfit didn't expect was what got actually animated and how the controversy turned out. TLDW, the controversy flopped like a deflated elephant balloon, my good audience. And personally, I couldn't stand this show nor continue to watch it despite my foolish curiosity to read the manga beforehand. Though a misfit still needs to make content, and I do got some things to say about this poo stain. Furthermore, the number one reason I hate this series is not going to be as cut and dry as one might think. So, watch along as I spin you a yarn about Redo of Healer, the controversy with the helicopter dong. Now, for those of you in the viewing space who had the luxury not to encounter such supersized filth until this point, let me say that the Redo of Healer anime should have been an off-brand anime, if you know what I'm saying. At least if this dark revenge fantasy was labeled as such, I think there wouldn't have been a controversy at all, let alone a need for it to waste a spot on the seasonal chart. But quick recap nonetheless. Hey friends, meet Heel Boy. Heel Boy wants to be hero. Heel Boy gets his wish to save people as he's invited by Princess. Heel Boy later realizes, oh shit, healing painful, as the princess upgrades her title to Miss Big Bitch and drops him in the dungeon. And then, Heel Boy's left to rot. Heel Boy's left to mold. Heel Boy's left there in the dungeon many months old. But fear not, wary viewer, for after many toils of abuse, sexual frenzy, and drugs, he finally gets his chance to defeat the Demon King and heal the world! Back to the beginning in order to enact his revenge on everyone who's wronged him before. And la-dee-da! This is the perfect recipe for an edgelord supreme, am I right? Why, yes! Yes, it is. Despite the super graphic nature of this anime, I just can't take this show seriously for how excessive it all is. If you're somehow still not convinced, let me try and get you to see in my way, right? So, watching Redo of Healer beyond the abuse and torture is like eating an ice cream cone with an overindulgence of chocolate sauce on top. I mean, sure, the first 5 licks are simply delicious, but 50 licks in, you're just sick of the stuff by then. That was my overall vibe with both the anime and manga. Though in the manga's defense, reading the action will always be better paced than watching the same action animated, in my opinion. When I came into the uncensored version of this series, because I ain't no chump, I for the most part knew what I was getting myself into, but boy, every time I saw the saucy scenes I saw, I merely went, wow, they actually animated that in finer detail. I thought here was going to be as graphic as Terraformers with that censored fiesta. And in the censored version, it kinda was that, all things considered, but no! It went for the dirt-covered gold, and man, can I just say that contrast and intensity is a furthering point as to why I couldn't take this show seriously? Like, take episode 2, probably the most graphic of the first 3 I saw. In one scene, Heel Boy is breaking Princess Big Bitch's fingers over and over and over again. But in another scene, just after that, comes the most memeable shot ever. The holy healed dick slap. And yes, I was one of those degenerates who paused to see if they actually drew something there. Oh yeah, speaking of worked out members, the hero leveling system is maintained through sex. Because of course it is. For a show trying to tell a gripping story about Heel Boy and his understandably horrible plight, they just had to tie the level caps to fornication, huh? You see what I mean here? It's stunts like these that ruin any sense of dread to the plot. And you know what the saddest part about all of this is? this show will probably turn into your usual waifu collection where he learns that demons are good guys and humans are bad guys. So let's do whatever I want because I got bitches now. All these uncomfortable scenes and edgy protagonist moments for the sake of why the hell not is all for hate hype. Just so people will smash those keyboards and whine on Twitter. Not comparing that to smashing that like button and commenting on this video if you're so obliged, because anyone who does this is a super mega awesome turtle and not a big bitch princess lady. But I digress. Unfortunately for Redo of Healer, their mantra of doing horrible acts because why the hell not doesn't sell me, chief. Its plot is bad, its characters are bad, and its inevitable turn into a subpar isekai is bad. Ergo, 2 out of 10 wouldn't come again. Instead, let's talk about the only other points of merit this dumpster fire has to offer. The controversy. Oh boy, that was another exciting episode of
Insert season anime here.
Now I can have some Mayfield Choco Milk and read what's going on in anime news. Oh my god! The Super Edge, Super Revenge Plot series Redo of Healer is getting anime! Wowgee wowzers! That internet hate boner is going to drive that grease monkey. I can't wait to watch the disaster unfold as I sit here on my carapace streaming over at twitch.tv/theanimemisfit with my Nintendo Switch and copy of Orin High School Host Club on DVD and Blu-ray. It's going to be awesome. How do you spell meh? Well, that was a letdown. Yeah, I won't lie, I was that girl in the room hoping to watch such a mess go down in a blazing glory. But while something did get funky, it never hit the funky fresh fever that the Interspecies Reviewers debacle reached. And you think it would, considering that this is so many times worse. So let's figure out the reasons together, folks. Reason numero 1, it's just that bad of a show. On a complete serious note, it's not worth anyone's time, and I wouldn't expect anything else if it ends up on my channel's Worst of 2021 next year. If we can finish the 2020 video at any point soon, so stay tuned for that. Point number 2, the poo didn't hit the hamster until episodes 2 and 3. Episode 1 was tame on the visual content as all things considered. It was like experiencing a 2D roller coaster as you see the drop of bullshit that's ahead. All the while, the slow ascent into madness feeds you into a false sense of mediocrity. You know? Don't get me wrong, it still featured very heavy subject matter, and yet most of it was relegated to a quick flashback and focused on Heelboy's objective. Compared that to Goblin Slayer, which objectively had its controversial scene in the first 10 minutes of episode 1. People can barely hold on to 20 seconds of a YouTube vid. You think someone with valued time on their hands would actually continue watching Redo after episode 1? Psh, please, that's what us degenerates are for. Which brings us to 3. There's a lot of stuff to watch this season, for Christ's sake! Or, more plainly said, the pandemic's burrito stuffing of the winter season gave anime fans many more choices to watch when in a normal time, winter would have the barest of pickings. Which leads up to my final reason the controversy is a definite D tier for me. The little outcries we did get were hella lame, bro. One was about how the original creator couldn't get the light novel to become a thing in the West. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Anyone with a brain could tell you businesses would rather slap that stuff away like a bad accident than attempt to risk a monopoly of sales on that type of clout. But Shannen, businesses don't care about social justice. They care about them green. Well, my disembodied voice, businesses don't care about social justice. Unless it does affect their green. So nah, pal, I expect this light novel not to fly. Then we have Germany banning the simulcast, which, hey, you know what? That would be one hell of an awkward job to take as a voice actor, especially if you even want to keep your job in this industry. And even if you did go uncredited, which a majority of the people would, the recording sessions would be another nightmare. We all know that. Then comes good old my anime list. Ah yeah, my anime list. The champion of chads, the heroes of the petty retooling of their voting system. If anyone, and I mean anyone, was going to make a far out and bombastic T-pose of dominance, it was going to be them. And they decided to write a statement on their forums and keep on trucking. Well then, on the bright side, I commend them for their mature format, but am I the only one who felt like, that's it? Really? That's it? I guess Nuxtaku was right. Maybe the fanfare to the series was flattened because no one would give a shit if the series got cancelled. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to make clout off it. There is one silver lining in all this, though. Redo of Healer getting snubbed is good timing, all things considering the states of certain anime being globally banned and becoming the current punching bag for easy government good noodle points. So we kinda don't need another high-profile show in the limelight right now. Yeah. But I think this video is getting a bit long, so let's now get to the real reason I hate this show. Because of how many times it's been compared in gratitude to Shield Hero and Goblin Slayer without any foresight of nuances and a heaping pile of hypocrisy. Also, I'm going to whine about Interspecies Reviewers getting the worst controversy because I'm salty. Not wasting any more time, I'm going to talk about why Redo isn't like these shows in terms of the controversies, and why comparing them is grinding my gears. First up is Shield Hero, the one that it gets compared to the most. No, just because Heel Boy hates the princess and gets a beastman slave doesn't mean this is one-to-one Shield Hero. That comparison is lazy, even if I get it. It just makes me so salty, man. Shield Hero is much tamer in terms of content. It talks about the less frequent scenario of someone being falsely accused of committing sexual assault. The country is corrupt and its people are corrupt against the Shield Hero for plot reasons. So now Fumi takes in a slave because it's the only guaranteed help he can get. And guess what? He treats her like a living being with rights and decency and respect, like a father would to their kin. Very tame compared to what Heel Boy does to Ice Wolf Chick in the Redo manga. In fact, Raftalia, once leveled up, gets Naofumi out of the idea of hard revenge halfway through the series. He still hates the people in his country, but by the events that will be covered in season 2, everything from that point is more like your usual getting justice on the bad guy show, aka a normal everyday isekai. So the only thing I can give Redo for is that at least it commits to doing all the heinous things the main character wants to do in the beginning, even if it's childishly excessive to the point of breaking immersion. With Goblin Slayer, I see more people eyeing heavily at the show's use of bad body times and makes the show out to be some horrible example of exploiting the plight of victims. And while I would never say that anyone who is uncomfortable with said subject matter is just a big baby about it, I argue that Goblin Slayer, unlike Redo of Healer, takes the subject matter of bad body times not only more seriously, but adds value to the narratives as an unfortunate consequence to not addressing the goblin problem with a more serious gusto. The first 10 minutes of Goblin Slayer would have never happened if the world set within actually trained new adventurers to deal with these problems, or had a widely prominent and well-paid task force to take care of villager-related issues, but instead in this world it's all about the glory of your hunt. If your monster isn't hailed in tales of fancy, then no adventurer would stay at the bottom willingly to keep villages safe because there is no incentive to do so from a career standpoint. But Goblin Slayer does it because if no one with experience walks through these foul goblin trenches, who the fuck will? The anime makes me feel empathetic towards the assaulted women. I feel empathetic towards Goblin Slayer's past, as everything was ripped right before his eyes by a race of monster no large adventurer has time for, because it's not name-worthy enough or pays well. The show explores the socioeconomics facing their world with a very clear message of, oh, I don't know. How does it go again? Ah yeah, Thrape is bad! But no, episode 1 had Thrape in it, so we must cancel it, without considering nuances or attempts of context it brings to the series. Close the book, shut the door, it's over. Just like Interspecies Reviewers. Out of the 3 anime who got worse controversies than Redo, this one is the saddest because it was not only a good lighthearted show, but one with brothels that were consensual, responsible in terms of their world's laws and lore, had great world building rules, and most importantly, everyone's a fucking adult! Reviewers has the Dungeons and Dragons ambiance on its side, with its more blatant races of halflings, angels, and whatever, but you know from the get-go that all these brothel goers are adults who just want to have a good time. Redo's waifu brigade just has their classics of Broken Mind Princess, Ice Wolf Lolly, and later down the line, the obligatory Dragon Girl. Look, I too agreed that at the end of the day it's 2D art, so as long as it physically doesn't hurt anybody, whatever. But if you want to play Russian roulette with moral ambiguity while trying to sell said product to a wide adult audience, then good luck, buddy. Another thing about this whole shebang is that I think Redo being licensed by Sentai Filmworks really made the difference here. They licensed the show in sub, quietly didn't say any plans about a dub, and continued their business. It wasn't pulled out in the lot and beaten to death like Funimation did with reviewers, just to say, it's not within our standards. Because of reactions like that, I can't help but feel salty about all of it. It makes me wish Redo got the same treatment out of spite. And I know how bitchy I get when it comes to spite. You should see me when I talk about Chinese manhwas, because boy, nothing gets me more heated than that. What were we talking about again? Oh, right. Redo of healer equals bad, because Drop the Soap Bald guy didn't get a firm grip of his sanity. I'll see myself out now. Shannen out!